They say strict parents raise disciplined children. And sometimes they do, but sometimes they raise children who mistake fear for respect, silence for maturity, and obedience for love. There's a quiet story that rarely gets told. The story of the child who learned to shrink before they learned to speak. The one who became good very early. Responsible, careful, watchful. Is discipline always strength? Or can it become a cage so subtle that even the adult cannot see its bars? Behind high achievements, perfect manners, and impressive resilience, there can be something else. A nervous system that never truly rests. A heart that measures every word. A mind that rehearses conversations that have not yet happened. This is not about blame. It is about understanding. Because the way you were raised does not disappear. It echoes. And today, this is a gentle exploration of the psychology of people who grew up with strict parents. Let us begin. The well-behaved child. In many strict homes, childhood does not feel wide. It feels narrow, structured, observed. There are rules about how to sit, rules about how to speak, rules about what is acceptable to feel. The child learns quickly that safety is found in compliance. Approval is found in performance. Silence is safer than protest. So the child adapts. They become unusually mature. They monitor their tone. They scan the room before speaking. Not because they are naturally calm, but because their nervous system has learned that unpredictability carries consequences. When parents are strict, love can feel structured. Warmth may exist, but it is often conditional on behavior. Good grades are celebrated. Mistakes are corrected swiftly. Emotional outbursts are discouraged. The child begins to equate goodness with worth. To be loved is to behave. To be safe is to comply. Over time, this becomes identity. They are the responsible one, the dependable one, the easy child. Teachers praise them, relatives admire them, but inside something quieter forms. A constant self-monitoring, a carefulness that never sleeps. Even joy is moderated, even laughter is measured, because somewhere in their body lives the memory of disapproval. And so the well-behaved child grows into an adult who apologizes too quickly, who struggles to ask for help, who feels guilty for resting. They are praised for their discipline, but rarely asked what it cost. Love with conditions. Strict parenting often carries an invisible contract. You will be loved, but you must earn it. The affection may be real. The care may be sincere, but the child experiences it through a filter of evaluation. How did you perform? Did you meet expectations? Did you disappoint? Approval becomes currency. Achievement becomes proof of worth. Slowly, the child internalizes a belief. If I succeed, I am lovable. If I fail, I am less. This belief does not disappear in adulthood. It evolves. The adult studies harder than necessary, works longer than required, replays minor mistakes for hours. Why does a small error feel catastrophic? Why does criticism feel like rejection? Because somewhere deep inside, love once felt fragile. Perfectionism grows not only from ambition, but from fear. Fear of losing approval. Fear of becoming unworthy. The adult may appear confident, capable, high-achieving, but internally, there is constant evaluation. Was that good enough? Did I say the wrong thing? Are they disappointed in me? When love feels earned, rest feels dangerous. Even success is not fully satisfying because the bar keeps moving. There is always another expectation to meet. And so the person keeps running, not toward joy, but away from disapproval. The science of hypervigilance. The body remembers what the mind tries to rationalize. Growing up under strict monitoring activates the stress response repeatedly. The child becomes alert to tone shifts, facial expressions, subtle cues. This is hypervigilance. It is not weakness, it is adaptation. When unpredictability exists, the nervous system learns to anticipate, to scan, to prepare. Stress hormones rise more easily. The fight or flight response becomes sensitive. Even neutral situations can trigger anxiety. Why does relaxation feel uncomfortable? Why does silence feel tense instead of peaceful? Because calm was never guaranteed. The brain wires itself around survival. The child becomes an expert at reading authority figures. Later in life, bosses, partners, even friends can unconsciously activate that old pattern. The adult overthinks messages, interprets neutral feedback as criticism, braces for disapproval that may never come. Inside, there is an internalized authority, a voice that says, "Be careful, do not mess up, stay in line even when no one is watching." The strict parent may no longer be present, but the monitoring continues from within. And so the body stays prepared. Prepared for correction, prepared for judgment, prepared for consequences. This is not dramatic. It is quiet, subtle, chronic. The nervous system does not forget the environment that shaped it. The inner critic's voice. Over time, the external authority becomes internal. The rules once spoken aloud are now whispered inside the mind. You should be better. You should not feel this way. You should try harder. The inner critic often sounds rational, disciplined, responsible, but beneath its tone lies shame. When emotions were discouraged, the child learned to suppress them. Anger was disrespectful. Sadness was weakness.
Look at you.
Fear was
sitting there
dramatic.
all alone.
So feelings were folded inward.
What is wrong?
But emotions do not
They are
disappear.
judging you.
They wait. And the inner critic grows louder whenever vulnerability surfaces. Do not cry. Do not complain. Do not need too much. Relaxation feels undeserved. Rest feels lazy. Even pleasure can feel slightly wrong. Why is it so hard to be gentle with yourself? Because gentleness was not the language of survival. Self-compassion can feel foreign, even unsafe. The adult may accomplish extraordinary things, but privately, they battle themselves. They are both the disciplined child and the strict parent living in the same mind, and the conflict is exhausting. The hidden rebellion. Not all strict households create compliance. Sometimes they create quiet rebellion, but even rebellion carries fear. The child who felt controlled may grow into an adult who fiercely guards independence, who resists authority instinctively, who withdraws emotionally. Why does closeness feel suffocating? Why does guidance feel like control? Because autonomy once felt limited. Some become overly responsible. Others swing toward impulsivity. Both are attempts to reclaim power. Suppressed anger does not vanish, it transforms. It can become sarcasm, distance, emotional numbness, or sudden explosive reactions that surprise even the person experiencing them. The rebellion is not about hatred, it is about self-protection. The psyche seeks balance. When control was excessive, freedom becomes urgent. But true freedom is not reaction, it is choice. And that realization arrives slowly. Learning to feel without fear. At some point, awareness begins. A quiet noticing. Why am I so hard on myself? Why does approval still matter this much? This is not about blaming parents. Many strict parents believed they were preparing their child for a difficult world, and perhaps they were. But survival is not the same as emotional safety. The turning point comes when the adult recognizes that discipline does not require fear. Boundaries do not require harshness. But respect does not require silence. Feelings are not threats, they are signals. Slowly, the nervous system learns a new rhythm. Mistakes become human, rest becomes allowed, voice becomes safer. The past is not erased, but it is understood. And understanding softens what force once hardened. Discipline reimagined. Discipline can be reclaimed, not as punishment, but as self-trust. The person who grew up strict often carries immense strength, resilience, work ethic, emotional endurance. These are not flaws. They are adaptations. But when fear is removed, discipline becomes choice rather than obligation. The inner critic can become an inner guide, firm but kind, expectant but patient. The adult no longer obeys out of fear. They act out of alignment, and that difference changes everything. The quiet release. Growing up with strict parents creates complex emotions. Gratitude and resentment can coexist. Love and hurt can live in the same memory. It is possible to appreciate the sacrifices made while also grieving the softness that was missing. If parts of this reflection felt familiar, something inside you may have quietly nodded. You are not dramatic. You are not ungrateful. You are not broken. You adapted. And adaptation is a form of intelligence. If this reflection made you feel seen, know that many others carry similar stories in silence. If you would like to stay connected, this is a space where the hidden corners of the human heart are explored gently and without judgment. And if you feel comfortable, you may share your reflections, not because you have to, but because your words might help someone else feel less alone. Take care of yourself. You deserve gentleness.